let's get started. Let me hit record. Okay, so my name is Erica. I'm a project manager in the content development department for Problematic. So we have 12 teachers today, and the majority of them are science. So we're going to focus on doing examples from science just so you can see that content. So Problematic is a teacher's tool. It's not just for testing. There's output and explorations that can get to later in the demonstration. You can use it for learning, printed out tests, flashcards, slideshows, access tickets. So we're going to start by showing you the main features of Problematic. After you've signed in, you can just hit create. And we're going to go to the main select page. Let's get back there. And on the main select page, there's 9 different panels. And the panels show the different origins of the questions, whether they were published, which is in this top row. And
Evan has it in front of him.
In the middle. Total, we have over 220,000 questions. Everything that's in this top row and on this left column is our free questions available to everyone. We have stuff from state assessments, which is we publish the New York Regents exam we have, which goes back about 30 years. We have questions from national assessments like NAEP and TIMSS, academic competitions, and then we have this one down here called Hidden Treasures, which is stuff that's done out of date, but it's still a good resource for questions. And then these 2 panels in the middle are the subscriber content. We have additional math standards like Common Core and math and science over here. We have SAT prep, ACT prep. We have 4 different AP databases, 2 for math and 2 for science. So let's start by starting a new document. I'm just going to press new here. Just leave the Untitled for now. And since we're going to do science, let's see if we can find science questions from Massachusetts. Well, okay, let's do this one. So in the state assessments, we have over 20 different states. So let's go to there. Let's hit. And you can see that in state assessments, they're organized either topically or by test. So you can just simply find your states. And we have it organized by year and by grade. So let's try to go to science. Okay, let's see.
Just the projector because it's so much nicer here.
I'm sorry. Let's go back to topics and we'll do science. And let's try life sciences. And you can see you click on the little plus sign and it drops down all of the different topical sorted questions. Let's do photosynthesis. So you simply click on standard and it'll take you into where the questions are at. And there's 2 ways you can add questions. You can simply click the add button, or you can double click on the thumbnail and that also adds the questions. Let's see if we can find one with a nice picture. Oh, this one looks good. Let's add this one also. And you can see here on the left, we have this navigation panel, which can quickly take you to the top of the page, the bottom of the page, the previous standard, or previous category, or the next category, or even back to the main select page, which was the 9 panel. So let's use this to go back to the top. There's also a shortcut way to add questions, which on this page you can click this add button, which is in the top right. And you can choose to add all the problems in this topic up to 100 at a time.
Oh, wow.
You can randomly have the system choose questions for you. So we're just going to randomly add 3. And you can see here the screen box shows you that you added 3. This section here at the top shows you how many problems total in your current documents. So currently we have 6 problems. You can also go back out to where the standards are, and you can randomly add questions from here by right-clicking on a standard. So let's right-click on this, and then you just click Add Problems, and you have the option, once again, to add all the problems, or randomly add a certain number. Let's do it. You can also right-click and randomly add questions at the different levels, so we can randomly add questions from all of life science by right-clicking, and then clicking add to set in there. And you can also randomly add from all of science by right-clicking, clicking add. Let's do 10 there. And this just shows you where the questions are coming from, so you see that it's coming from all of science. Okay. And you can also go back out to the 9 panel, and you can add questions you can mix and match between databases. So we chose all our questions from state assessments. You could go into your regions, and let's just add biochemistry. So yeah, you can mix and match questions from any database into a document. So at this point, we're going to rename our document. Just call it Science Examples. Okay. And this drop-down menu will show you the current document you're working on, plus the last 5 documents that you've done, so you can switch between them. And then if you want to open an older document, you would click on this open button, and it shows you all of your documents. Okay, so now that you selected your questions, you're going to arrange them. And one of the most basic things to get from this webinar is that when you're creating a document, it's as easy as following in order the steps on the left side of the screen. So next, now that we've selected questions, we're going to arrange them. And there are all the questions that we chose. And then this group view, you can rearrange questions by being dragging. You can decide that we want this one in front. You can scramble the questions with the little button. And then, so right now we have 28 problems in our document. Maybe we only want 25, so we can remove questions by clicking on this remove button. Let's remove this one too. And this one. So now we're left with 25 questions. And if you want to get a bigger view of the questions, you can click on this magnifying glass and it will pop out a thumbnail for that question. Or you can switch to the list view and it will show you all the questions in thumbnail format. The only thing though is in a list view, it's a little bit harder to rearrange. Like, for example, if you want to move this to the top, you can't really see it. You kind of have to. So it's much easier to rearrange your questions in the grid view so you can see more on the page. You can also use the problem list on the left side of the screen to click and drag questions that way. Okay, so now that we have, let's move some picture ones to the top, just so we can see it better. Okay, so now that we've the questions, we're going to format the document. And there's 8 different document templates from the more traditional types, 1-column tests, 2-column tests. We have overheads, flashcards, 2 different types per page, 4 per page. And then you can also make a weekly calendar or a monthly calendar. And we're going to do
Wait till social studies
a weekly calendar. We also have the option to include weekend problems, but there are 6 questions per page versus 5. You can choose the date that it starts by clicking on the calendar. Then you just click Make PDF, and the questions are going to be dropped into that
5. Guess what happened?
problem of the day.
No, 5 more to
Format.
social studies. But that's when you go full time.
This is what it looks like in the paper.
Cool.
And you'll see that the pictures are automatically shrunk to fit. And things get rearranged so that they fit nicely into your chosen templates. You can also go back to format and decide you want to present it in a flashcard instead because you're going to use it for some in-class game. So change that. And we're going to click on Make PDF again. And there you go. Same questions in a new format. Or you may decide, after all, that you just want to do it in a traditional test format. So we're going to switch it to a 2-column test. And we'll go back to, and then the other options are, you can, by default, the header includes a name and date. Maybe you only want to include the name. Maybe you want to put a border around your header. You also have the option of adding custom fields, like you can, maybe you want your students to include the period they're in. And then there's also a meta box, which appears under the header on the first page. So. And there are 5 different font options. I think there's 2 serif and 3 sans serif. So you can change that to a sans serif font. You can change the size, which is helpful if you're doing some kind of test modification or you have special needs students. So you could make the font larger. Or even if you're enriching the test at the lower grade, it's also helpful to have the font be larger. And then there's 7 different options for a multiple choice label. I'm going to change this. You can also choose to decrease or increase the number of multiple choice options, and you can also, when possible, hide the multiple choice answers to make those multiple choice questions free response, which is applicable to about 70% of the multiple choice questions in problematic. And then you can also change the multiple choice labels. Oh, no, sorry, this is part of labels. Okay, so let's go back to make PDF, and you can see all the changes we just made in the format tab. So you'll see we took out the date and replaced the period. We added a memo. We changed to a 2-column test and changed the multiple choice labels. And if you're at this point satisfied with the document we made, you can choose to download it, which is this blue button here. And it will save a copy to your computer that you can print out for your students. There we go. Okay, you guys can see it there. So there it is in my PDF previewer. All nicely formatted. Okay, let's get back to. So those are the basic features. You select the questions, you arrange them, you format your documents, and then you make your PDF. Excuse me. Now on to the intermediate level features. You can distribute this PDF to your students just by using a link, which is accessed by the Share with Students button, this green button here. So yeah, in the past, we had noticed that teachers were downloading the PDF just to re-upload it to their class website. And so with this, it's one click of a button. You can upload this to your class website or use this button to push it to Google Classroom. One thing to note is that that link will share exactly what you see here in the preview screen, which, if you have the option on, includes the key, which you probably do not want your students to see. So you would go back to Format and just click to turn off the answer key. And then we could go back to Make PDF. No longer has the answer key at the end. So it's important to note that the Share with Students link is not a live link. It only gets updated once you click on the Share with Students button. So whatever you see here is what's going to be shared with the students when they click on this link. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions about what we've gone through so far. Okay.
So you're in charge of questions, so you
Sorry.
have questions?
I got lost there for a second. Okay. Also, back to the arrange page, you have the option
No, I'm sending emails.
to split your document into multiple parts.
Are we good right now?
Many of us
Do
have
that by starting on admin parts.
So you cut it
And you can add it at the beginning of the document, at the end. You can also inside of the parts, you can have some parts.
today if you have any questions.
And then just add it to the end of the document. And you can see here, this part is added, and then you can add to here and decide question 4 is in this part. Oops, sorry. There we go. That's question 5 also. Okay, and you have the ability to parts inside of parts. And you can go up to 3 levels deep. This is good if you want to split your document between having multiple choice questions in one part and free response questions in the second part. So you saw in the grid that we moved questions one by one by dragging and dropping. And just last month, we added a new feature so that you can move multiple questions at once. So what we're going to do is hold down Shift, and then you can hold down Shift, and then select a block of questions, or you can hold Control and click on questions.
Yeah, and then you would have totally.
No, it's going to be really. So let's click on all the ones that have pictures. This one too. No, that's fine. And then we're going to go here to select options. Move selected. And we're going to move them to the beginning of the parts. You also have the option to move them to the end of the part, into a new part, or into already created parts. So we're going to just put them at, the beginning of the parts. There you go. All the questions I selected were moved to the beginning of the part. You also have the option of selecting them by type. So go back to select, and then select by, and you can find all the free response, find all the multiple choice, and I don't know if we have any free response in here. Let's see. You can also choose to find all the questions that are full width, or any one that you labeled that to hide the choices, or if they have a custom answer space, which we'll get to in a minute. Oh, no free response questions. Let's quickly go find some just for. We're going to just add 5 of them. And then back to the arrange page. And scribble. And then let's try that again. We're going to go to select options. Select up to 5. We're going to find all the response questions. And then the program automatically found the 5 that we added. And then we're going to go back to select options, move selected. And let's put them into a new part. And then click move. And there they are. So they were originally in this part 1. And the 5 free response that we selected are now moved into their own part. Quick and easy, just like that. You also can customize your questions by adding a custom answer space. So you need to click on the question. Let's do this one. Let's see, is this here? Oh, no, that's not. Okay. So, click on the question, you click on details, and you have the options to hide the choices. And then you can add a custom critical. So we're going to do a critical, but you also have the option of adding a blank line, or if this were math, you could put in a number line that they would have to fill out. You could leave an empty space, add in a box or a graph. So we're going to do critical. And we have 27 different critical formats. So we're just going to pretend that that's a numeric question. We're going to go to the PDF so we can see the results of that. There we go. Just right there. They added a critical question. Oh, that question wasn't. This is an example of a question that we can't hide the answers to because you need them to answer the question. So let's find one. There you go. Maybe this one. Let's try this again. So we're going to select that question. We're going to go to details. We're going to hide the choices, and we're going to add a custom critical. Let's do that one. There we go. So you can see here, question number 2, that the multiple choice answers were hidden, and we added a critical instead. You also have, you can also, let's see if we can find a numeric answer. You may have to just pretend. Okay, we're going to pretend that question number 1 is a numeric answer. So we're going to go back to range. Click on question 1. Click on details, and we're going to custom and let's add a grid. Let's say that it's 3 inches by 2 inches. We're going to make it medium blue color. We're going to divide it into 30 by 20 squares. And let's see what that looks like. Okay, so there you go. We added a grid to question number 2, and we added a grid to question number 1. So up to this point, everything I've shown you is free for everyone, for all users. And we're going to move on to the subscriber features of Problematic.
Where's the part?
So the next step is exports. And it's an interactive way to deliver questions to students. So that one. There we go. So you can see here, you can present the questions as a slideshow, and just open up
That's awesome.
a new tab. And it's like PowerPoint. It's the slideshow is web hosted, so it's just online. And then there's this navigation panel at the bottom to go in between slides. You can set it up as a time to show.
How was it?
You present this on
We'll go back and find out.
You can push it into Google Classroom by this button. I don't know if you guys use an LMS, but that's also an option. You can export into the LMS down here at the bottom under downloadable file. We have 7 different options. Canvas and Schoology are the most popular ones, but we have Blackboard Learning.
I was going to put, we use Google Classroom.
How testing and Moodle. So if you're you use Google Classroom, okay.
None of the others?
The Google Classroom links to push your documents into Google Classroom and use them there. Okay, thank you for letting me know. Go back, Chester. Okay, so probably uses, we have a link down here for interactive tests. And we're going to do one column per page. Show you that. And so this is what the students would see when they clicked on that link. And it will just take them through. Oh, as you can see here, any time we added a custom printable, on the online test, it just adds an answer box. There you go. And the student could go through and copy answers. Let's pretend like we finished. Oh, wait, actually. And then for the free response questions, you just have these boxes that they would type their answer into. And then they get to the end of the test. They can submit. Make sure we didn't answer that questions, but that's fine. And they just get a little note saying it just has been submitted. And then when we go back, in the teacher view of problematic, click on the score tab, and you would see the results in various versions of these 3 tabs. Will it grade the question and tell the students their grade? There is an option for that. Let me show you. I'll get to that let's actually change that now. So in settings, it won't show them their grade. I think it will show them it'll show them which questions they got right and their percentage, I believe. So, sorry, let me do that again. So on the score page, the middle button here, settings, you have the option to turn on show results to students. You can also, every time a student submits a test, the results can be emailed to you if you like that. There's also an option to download all the results as a spreadsheet, so you're not dealing with like 30, 60, 90 different submissions of the same test. So we'll click save. And let's take a test one more time, and you can see what the students will see. Answer all the questions. Okay.
specifically Ryan, right?
Okay. And last question. And then the student submits. Make sure you've answered all your questions. Submit. So this is what the student would see. The student would see that they got 4 answers correct, 13%. Okay. So let's go back to okay. So on the score tab, the teacher will see the results for the whole class, and you can hover over the bars to show, one person got 10%, one person got 0. It breaks it down by frequency here. This is student tab, so we'll see what each student answered for this question, and their raw score and their percentage. And in the problem tab, you see it broken down by question, and you see how many students got it correct, or which incorrect answer each student had. So for example, on this first one student got it correct and answered C. One student didn't answer at all. For the free response questions, it shows a list of what the correct answer is and what students answered. And you can click on show all, which will show expanded version of this. You can see the whole answer. Okay. And then, so this is more for the scoring app on Problematic. It's informal. We don't collect student data. So if you wanted more formal testing, that's when you would use an LMS, or I'm not really sure how it works in Google, but you can also just take the test link here that you found on the export page and upload that into Google Classroom. If you prefer to use that over the Problematic scoring app. Back on the score tab. You also have the option of presenting questions to students as an answer sheet. And then you just copy and paste this link to either your class website or into Google Classroom. How do we create the pre-response questions? Oh, and I'll get to that in 1 minute. So now that we've had multiple students take the test, you as the teacher can vote on the results, and you can just have the results emailed to you. You can also you can choose to click print, excuse me, and you'll get a multi-sheet printout of what you see on the class, students, and problem tabs, if that's useful to you. You also have the option of downloading the spreadsheet versus having it emailed to you. Okay. And then for school manually scoring, you go to the student tab, and this question 2 is a response question. So what you would do is you hover over the question number, and then you will click on score this question, and this is what you see. And you see what the original question was, what the answer is, and what the students answered. So, for example, this one did not answer correctly, so you click on incorrect, and it automatically moves to the next student. You can see the student's name up here in the left-hand corner. This one also got it. Well, let's just say this person, let's pretend they got it correct. Just click that. And then once you're done manually grading each student's responses, you just hit the done button. And you can see here, red means incorrect, and green means correct. And it differentiates between stuff that was automatically scored, which is this lighter shade of red, and this lighter shade of green. Okay. And then you also have, you can also display a QR code. So let's say, for example, you presented your students with an answer sheet, which would look like this, just look like a bubble sheet. You could then go back to slideshow option and export. Display a QR code the students could use to access, so that they would have this bubble sheet to look at, and then they would get this slideshow. Okay, so 90 to 95% of your time is going to be spent on this create page where you select, arrange, format, PDF, export it, store it. The other 5 to 10% of your time is going to be spent on what we call the organize page, which is up here, where you can do document management. It just shows you a list of all your documents, and you can drag and drop them into folders like you would in an email program. So you would right click on all documents, add a new folder, it's just all the science. And then we're gonna click on some documents.
All of our tests into folders and stuff. Also, because we get the
Okay. Let me finish this. So you click on some documents, and then you just drag and drop them into the folder. Okay, so we have a question here. Can you scramble the questions for each student? No, that's not currently an option. And one example of the use of scrambling, which was here, your range pages. You could create one form of the documents, and what you can do is then click new,
and then send out the ones to.
We're going to call this form B, just quickly. We're going to click to make a copy of the same document, so it's kind of like save as. We're going to click create. So now we have the same test. And then you click scramble, and it would have the same questions, but in a different order. So if you went back here to the organized page, you would see oh, I put it in here, sorry. So you can see here the science examples, which was our original documents, and then Form B. So you have two versions of the same test with the same questions, and the questions are scrambled. I do know that we are working on adding a scrambling option for the multiple choice questions themselves. So second question, can you prevent them from leaving the test to search the answer? No, because it just opens up in a different tab.
There's a program that you can get to to do that.
It doesn't really prevent them from
But the district has to pay
being
for it.
able to find the answer.
I think they have to, yeah, we don't have it.
How much it costs?
I don't know.
Okay, look at it.
What's the name of it?
Okay,
I
so
don't know, I
we're
saw
gonna
from
page,
Beverly that day with Sean
drag and drop
Gallagher.
into folders, you can make your folders
When
up
you
to
open
5
a test on the computer and locks it, so you can't like open any other tabs or search anything to take the test, but he says it's a
So you can organize them
program that the
by
district has to pay for. I
periods
just
or
don't know what it's
years.
called. I can probably find it if I
Subjects
through
that
my
you
notes.
teach, whatever makes sense
That's
to you.
really?
You also have, you can also share your documents with other teachers by clicking on this 3 dots here. And you just turn on sharing, and then you can share this link with other teachers, and they would get a copy of your documents in their document list. You can also collaborate on a document by just turning it on. And it's a way for multiple teachers to work on one document together without having to send links back and forth.
Oh, nice.
That's a feature.
Yes. So cool.
Okay. Another subscriber feature, if we go back to create, in the arrange view, you can edit questions.
That's the best thing ever, you guys.
So if you want to personalize questions, or I know math teachers sometimes you like to take an existing question and change the values in it so that you come up with a different answer. So now that we're in the prompt editor, you can change the names, you can add in a more interesting situation, you can insert an image by clicking on this image tab. You have the option of uploading your own, which ends up in this space called
We're like,
images. But we also have stock images,
love this.
which is Automatic's own graphics library, which has about 60,000 questions, or sorry, 60,000 images
That's, and it's like high quality. That's really exciting.
that you could use to create stimulus for your own questions. So you just drill down until this right side starts showing pictures.
I'm thinking of some feedback, so she knows how excited.
This is always
She can't hear
a nice one.
Oh, look at those food bugs that you know how hard it is.
Okay, click on which you want, click OK, and it's just added.
Look at it.
Your
So what is $700?
Where's the great white in there? I'm missing it.
And then say, even you'll see here,
Isn't the killer whale above?
the,
Oh, killer whale's above the great white, all right?
I'll do the thumbnail, see there.
I'm just thinking like the Massachusetts food web.
You also have the option of completely writing your own question. So let's do.
Remember you were saying that for the other one, you couldn't do it, and now we have to stop all of that. Are you so happy?
Okay, and
I'm so happy.
here she
I was,
is.
I mean,
And we're just gonna,
that's how we have to change it. Okay, it's 5:15. She said, she gave you this look like.
She called you a loser for a different reason, not for that, right?
then
You know,
the color we're gonna make it, we're gonna be multiple choice question. You can highlight this list. On this list button, there's an option to turn it into a multiple choice block.
Nice.
And it automatically does it, and you would right click on the correct answer and mark it as the correct answer.
Oh, I love it. Right,
And while we're here,
what is the answer?
let's just add a picture of a penguin. Look,
Penguins are great.
I think
Penguins are awesome right there.
stock images.
Generated.
Birds.
Oh, maybe she has so many penguins. Oh, look at all the penguins, all the birds.
Yeah. You sure? Oh, there we go. That's a penguin right there. Just add that in. There you go. So get save.
Michelle goes so cute.
It's going to be down here at the bottom. There we go. There's the question that we wrote. And with the correct answer marked.
I didn't know what
And
60,000.
let's see.
I might have to just work on this tonight.
I know. We also have live math mode, which works kind of like Desmos. To access it, you would hit Control and then you get this little
This is where she should have started with in the beginning. Would have been like,
math equation.
oh, look at that. Math, and then there's a
stuff.
math editor. Look at that.
And then once you get out of math mode, you hit Control and again, and then you just have, there you go, an equation. You can also do
Chemistry one, do chemistry.
geometry, so let's,
Wow.
Oh, cool.
What did you do?
She hit arc and it put the little sign over the top of it.
let's do
Wow, geometry. Be recording. Whoa. And she has a delta.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
and
That was short.
flex fraction. Let's do
We need this, one of these.
And then I'm getting the
Do it.
superscripts or the exponents by just using the caret like you would on Desmos.
Or you can just click on these things, right? Yeah.
And then the down arrow to get to the bottom of the
Access to it.
fraction.
You don't have the problematic? Did you activate your subscription? Oh, you know what? Did I not activate your subscription? I don't know.
And
I activated all of the signs before. I just know it doesn't
save, and you'll see the here.
I can activate you in the, because I have to manage it.
You have the math that we added.
All people can.
And you'll see that the variables are automatically italicized.
Okay, so I will activate you.
Okay.
I think because you already had a subscription, I thought you were.
And then the last thing before we finish is to go back into talk more about the contents. Yeah, there's 9 different panels. There's a mix of free questions available to everyone. And then these 2 panels here contain the subscription digital subscriber content, which is more math standards and things like ACT, SAT, AP calculus, UP biology, which is that's a state base.
Reset the password, I think really.
So for example, you could decide you want to create an Algebra 1 assessment, and you could use questions from this database here, Pre-Algebra Pre-Calc, which is just all
I added you in.
all the questions are for each one. Our attempt at trying experimenting with the idea of replacing a textbook with online content only. So you could add questions from there, mix it with questions from SAT prep, so it has algebra, and then ACT prep, elementary algebra, so there's content in there. Or let's say you want to create a statistics quiz, you could use content from AP Stats, and then add in some questions from this pre-algebra through calc. This also has statistics, it has data analysis. And then something to something to consider with for pay content is that because it's original to educated, there's two unique features, which is that the questions are paired, that two in a row are similar. And you could use that, for example, if like you chose questions and then later on you decided to do make a test or a post-test, and we have an option called parallel forms where it will automatically switch it to its paired question. That's an easy way to make paired documents. And then the second thing is that the questions are sorted from by default. It shows it from easiest to hardest, so this is the easiest. And then if we switch it, that's it. You get the harder, free response questions come to the top. Let's see, are there any questions?
Any questions?
No?
What does beta mean for a project? So our AP biology database is currently, we consider it a beta. It's the first version of the database. I think that we only have, it's like 700 questions in there, and so we're working on adding more questions. That's all the beta means. It's just we don't have as much as we do in other databases. Let's take a look. So yeah, so these are questions all original to educated, are aligned with the AP standards, which you see here. Expand it all.
If you want to get that description hours, that you go to Google Classroom and then submit the documents in that, people look at how the
Another thing to note is in the math standards database, you'll see that the standards are shortened. But if you hover over them, it shows the full, in this example, Common Core standards. So if you're confused by our abbreviation, you can just hover over them to see the full standard. It's just, we try to shorten that stuff where it wasn't too odious to get through the list, to have these, multiple sentences per standard. Try to just get the gist there. Yeah, so
Anything else, you guys? Or
if you get a full school subscription,
Is that what we have?
it covers, the core topics, math, science, social studies, ELA. And then if you want more information, if you go to the landing page.
As of when? Just the other day? When do we get the full subscription?
it was activated last week.
There's various links to like a content overview.
I'm putting this was very helpful. That's me being a butt kisser.
Okay, some questions to bring to cover.
Thank you, Mrs. So-and-so. What? Helpful.
Yeah. Oh. You can see there's links.
What is it? Did I get cut off the first time?
No, we had list.
Details here on how to
Oh.
use various functions like.
Oh, it started typing in.
Yeah, so this is a more in-depth description of all the different.
Because we have the full subscription as of last week. This was very helpful.
So are there any questions, anything that I wanted to go back over?
Oh, I want to ask you. Oh, you do?
I want to ask, when you search for a particular question,
Do you want me to type it?
I got it.
Okay.
Oh, okay, you have a full subscription as a lesson. So, okay, that's great. So you'll be able to access these two middle panels. Can you search questions? No, we don't have that functionality. It's been asked before to search the questions. Not really sure. I'd have to forward that question to our tech department to see if that's incoming options or not. Can you add pictures? Yes, let's do that quickly. So to add pictures, like you would choose a question that doesn't have pictures and edit the question. And you would go to this image button. And you would just click on upload new.
Oh, nice.
And you could either upload from a URL by typing it in here, or you can click on this and go to images in your computer. Let's do sample pictures. Sorry. Oh, there's a cute wall. Let's just drag and drop it.
Oh, that's so cool, right? Because you know how we have that one picture that we love and we just want to like a diagram or whatever. Dragging across a little bit.
Sorry.
She didn't mean to do two. That's cool.
New. Click on this box to. I'm just going to drag and drop it. And it shows you the progress bar. It's loading.
That's so cool.
Oh, technology.
Love it. It's great. This is so,
That's crazy. You can put it on Google Classroom.
and it grades it for you. Like, that's awesome. So you don't have to ever like manually
And it just
You don't
automatically.
have to come to school. Be on my couch. All right, do this.
Yep.
So you can click on the image. Which property?
You
Modify the image.
It'll show you, oh yeah, the original image is 10 inches.
You could. I mean, I think your question of could they look it up, but it could be like my son has to do science Quizlets. He's a freshman, so he does them out, get him to study, and it could just be a way of, that could be their homework if you have something quick. You could
Like a
do,
snow day, guess what? Everybody gets an assignment.
well, that's like the blizzard bag thing.
This
You
is
could,
better. Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
if you didn't get it to count, that'd be awesome.
No, but even if you had it like,
If you didn't get it, there it is.
Well, that's my wife's got 5 blizzard
There's the picture.
bag days. She just went on Google Classroom, threw her assignment out. They didn't have to make up 5 days last year.
that's what I'm saying.
I think they're only going to do 3 this year, but
You stopped it.
they had that approved last year because the state allows it, but the district,
Here's, this is an image we added. Here's some math we added on the second question. There's the wall we added.
Cool.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
All right, well,
I think we're good.
my time, sorry for that. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Let me know if you have any more questions. I'll stick around if there is.
Cool.
Cool. Thank you.
You guys-